insight really into what it was like to go and get a job with Lord Sugar. Yeah, what happened? And you were telling me a story earlier about the boardroom and what was he like? And you know, because it used to be advertised as that 100K a year job. And
yeah, and to be fair, I mean, thank you so much. Look at this, it's amazing. To be fair, 100 grand a year is still very good money for people even today.
Yeah.
And for some people it isn't. At the time, it was decent money. I had a very good job.
Sorry, can I get a water as well, please? Would you mind? Is that all right? Thanks.
I had a very good job. I worked for a company called Capita, which is a FTSE 100 at the time. It's FTSE 50 actually. Back in the day, things have changed. But I actually worked for them in a recruitment capacity. So I've got 22 years recruitment experience. And I was managing a team, turned over 32 million quid.
Nice.
I could walk into the office and, without being weird, you've probably just seen the entrance, you lot were all standing and only got told to. But I was like that. I would walk in the office and be like, oh, how are you getting on and whatever. And it was brilliant. And I was earning very good money and it was really good. I wanted to challenge myself, but to be fair. And I walked in, one of the guys, Steve, who worked for me in the public sector team, he printed out an application form, put a post-it note on it, said, fill this out. And I was like, really? Apprentice? I thought, why not? Why not? Give it a go. So I did. I filled it out. And I mean, your story is probably similar. I thought, I don't know, why not? I'll give it a go. 2 weeks later, I got an interview, then another interview, then another interview. 7 interviews later, I beat 20,000 candidates to get on the show. So I was in...
Let's give him a round of applause for that.
There you go.
It's no easy feat.
That's it. I was in Safari actually for a birthday treat. Me and my girlfriend, she's not my wife, but me and my wife, and I was spotting the big five right on Safari, and my BlackBerry rings. Remember them Blackberries? My BlackBerry rings, and it's the producer, like the senior producer. And, oh, do you want to be on the show? And I'm like, hang on a minute. There's a lion there. Yeah, why not? No, I mean, and it was just surreal, absolutely ridiculous. And then to go on the show, I thought to myself, look, I'm a guy that. I've got no qualifications. I left school with nothing. Maybe we'll get into that, I don't know. And I needed to try and challenge myself and better myself into the job that I already had. So I took the opportunity. And you running your own business at the time anyway, but I had to quit your job. You have to silence everything down from the apprentice perspective. You don't get paid. So you're kind of going into this complete, and I could have got fired. Most of you probably would have fired me week one, right? I could have got fired week one. So it's a massive risk. But I didn't, did I? I ended up winning it, and happy days. Now I blazed the trail for the rest of you lot to go on and do well.
Stuff. So what was it like then when you went and worked with him? Because you ended up setting up a business with his son, right?
Yes, yeah. Again, yes, I worked for him, but I actually got the best of both worlds, because not only did I work for him, I also set up a business with him from scratch, right? So we set up a company called Amscreen, which is a digital media business, still going today. So what, 14 years? 14,
yeah, wow.
Oh my God, 14 years ago. That's still going today, and it was a digital advertising business. What our business model was, it sounds stupid now, because when you go into the tube stations or walk around the city or whatever, there's digital media everywhere, isn't there? So everything's electronic and digital. But back then, and it was obviously a long time ago, back then it wasn't. It was still posters being put up on the wall, like billboards and whatever. So what we decided to do is take the petrol station market, convenience market by storm, and go in and actually start doing deals. I think our first deal, 7 months into starting the business, we did a £5 million deal with BP. And that meant that we could take the BP estate and then start using that for advertising revenue, and then ultimately getting some big advertisers on there as well. So that business, and then after BP, we used to call it the monopoly effect. I don't know if you guys and girls have seen this before, but you go and sign one big client, and then the next one comes, and the next one comes. We had Esso, Shell, Total, BP, all falling, and that was really where we took the petrol station market by storm. So it was brilliant. It was a brilliant time to start a business, let's be honest, with somebody else's money, right? Because that's essentially what we did. It was slightly different to yours because it was your money and and he's investing in. But with me, I didn't put a bean into it. So it was kind of like I'm getting paid to actually make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? And has anyone made mistakes in their businesses? I'd like a show of hands on that one. I bet there's, there you go. Right, I should have asked that earlier, and then we could have filmed that one. But yeah, no, we've all made mistakes, and actually, so making mistakes essentially with somebody else's money weren't very rewarding for him, but it was quite rewarding for me, because it meant that subsequently the businesses that I've set up, you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're insane, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So our first day was challenging. Because we both know Andrew very well, Andrew Block, who looks after us, and I was sick on my first day, which is like horrendously bad. I went to celebrate, right? Anyone done celebrations or anything like that? Marbella, gone out, had a few drinks, right? That was me, right? So I've gone away for the week before starting.
Yeah.
And I got bloody food poisoning, right? On the last day of my bus. So I've come back, I'm sick as a dog. And I've had to ring him. I mean, you know what he's like. You work for him as well as your business partner. And I've had to ring him up and say, I can't come in on my first day.
Off the back of a Marbella trip.
Off the back of
I
a Marbella
bet he really
trip.
bought that was food poisoning.
Honestly, true story as well. When I did actually go in a couple of days later, he gave me some, and bearing in mind, COVID was nowhere near the world at that point. He gave me some hand sanitizer. When he saw me, he said, use that, it keep the germs in. I was like, oh mate, it's embarrassing. It was all over the papers. It seems stupid to talk about that now, but it was all over the papers. Like,
yeah.
you know, stupid. Like, Lee didn't turn up for his first day. Google it, that's what happened. Nightmare.
Started with a bang.
I know.
So one of the things that we're trying to achieve with the Millionaire Mastermind is bring great people like yourselves to allow other business owners to get inspired and to level up and to see what can be achieved. And, you know, Lord Sugar was the first. I wasn't really in the personal development world pre-apprentice. I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos and stuff, but there wasn't really a lot of access to events or mentors back then. So it kind of was a big shock to the system when I met this guy and saw how he operated and what he'd achieved and what he was like. And it was a real level up for me. Yeah. You know, I didn't get on with him that well. I mean, we had a lot of feisty boardrooms, but
I can imagine you being a bit more feisty than me, to be fair. Is Joseph quite feisty? Is he? Yeah. Oh, not many hands up there, Joseph, mate.
So it forced me to level up. So did you come from? I mean, you worked in a big corporate business anyway, so it's probably quite different. I was, you know, from a smaller town and you know, built and kind of worked in small construction businesses, so it was a big shock to the system. But did you take a lot from him as a mentor and as a coach? And is there anything that stands out in your mind that kind of really then forced you to level up or want to achieve more from your career?
Yeah, it's a brilliant question because so many people think that, especially back then when you were working for him rather than investing in the business, people just think you were just stuck in a broom cupboard somewhere, and like you never saw him or anything like that. But that was completely false. You know, I saw him every day for at least the first 8-9 months.
Wow.
And you all know, right, when you're building a business, you know, everything's about that one thing right at the beginning. And then obviously as you expand and as you get bigger, you know, your operational side of things changes, doesn't it? So therefore, you know, by the second year of the business, we didn't see him as much, and that would be fair because we've done the foundations, if you like, of the business. But yeah, I mean, I think leveling up. I think what it gave me is the confidence that I could. And that might come across that I'm a really confident guy or whatever, but I've always got this stigma attached to my own self about my education or my bad education. Am I good enough? Should I be here? Has anyone ever had imposter syndrome before? Still got it? Like I have. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not even going. Do you know what I mean? So I've always had that. I think what it gave me is that confidence and courage, like I used the word earlier, to go, do you know what? You can go and do something. You can make a difference on it. It sharpens your mind because he is sharp, mate. That guy, he knows his numbers. He knows it. He is sharp. That's what it felt to me. And so it gave me a different perspective because you're right. I mean, I worked for a big corporate organisation that it was all about delivering for the shareholders. It was all about the bottom line. It was all about the numbers. So that is a slightly different environment. Even though it was about the numbers and delivering, it was a slightly different environment to working with Lord Sugar. So for me, it was about actually you can go and achieve something and you shouldn't just stop there. You should probably go there and you should probably there. I remember one thing. There were two key things. It might sound a bit boring, but there's two key things. It'd be interesting to see what you took out of it. That he used to say. The first thing that I would take away is that don't complicate things. Like just keep things simple. You know your business. You know who you are. You know what you're good at. So keep it simple and don't complicate it. Go after that. You know what your customers want. So that simplicity thing was really key from him. And the second thing was you're not thinking big enough. That's why I don't know whether you got this in terms of that part, but for me, he always used to say, why are you thinking in thousands? You should be thinking in millions. And then when you start thinking in millions, he's like, why are you thinking in millions? You should be thinking in billions. Do you know what I mean? And it does sound a bit like sometimes you think, oh, really? But actually, that's the way that the mindset started to change in focusing on growing or scaling up a business, which is what we're doing with our tech company now.
Yeah, amazing stuff.